Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Apple kicked off its annual week-long developers conference today in Cupertino, California. Of course, this one had to be virtual because of COVID, but news is already coming out of the conference, which just started about an hour ago. And we've also got some app developers not too pleased with Apple because of the restrictions surrounding its app store. Our tech editor, Dan Howley, has been listening in. He joins us now with the very latest. What's catching your eye early on, Dan?
That's right, Alexis. So far, we've seen Apple debut its new iOS 15. That's the operating system that powers your iPhone, the millions of iPhone devices around the world. That is bringing changes to apps like FaceTime. You'll actually be able to share videos and music in FaceTime now. So if you want to watch something with someone remotely, you can do that. Would have been a little more useful in the early days of the pandemic, but still something that's very welcome if you have remote friends and family. You'll be able to have them control video, and it'll come from services like obviously Apple TV Plus, but Disney Plus, as well as Hulu and NBA's Game Pass, I believe. And then there's also changes to privacy is what they're talking about as we speak, essentially saying that they're going to go out of their way to block more of the tracking that internet companies do. And then we had some big changes to iPad OS 15. That includes all of the changes to iOS 15, which also includes updates to the Photos app. But with iPad OS, what they're doing is allowing you to basically replace your entire home screen with widgets so that it's more functional for things like getting work done. And that's been kind of the complaint about the iPad for years, is that it's more of a consumption rather than a creation device. But Apple clearly trying to change that narrative with these updates. They're also rolling out a new feature that allows you to take notes anywhere you want on the iPad. So you swipe up from the bottom of the screen and then quickly take a note. It's context sensitive. So if you're in an app like Safari, for instance, they did not mention Chrome, but Safari, you'll be able to quickly add a link from that website directly to your note, and then those notes would be saved so that you can view them on macOS, iPadOS, and iOS. And one of the other things that they managed to point out was split view and side view. So what you have with the iPad is the ability to multitask, but it's always been kind of cumbersome when you want to do something like a split view where you have apps side to side. There's always been this awkward swipe feature where you have to swipe a certain way. You can't swipe too far or too short. This will now add buttons to the tops of apps to be able to quickly do your multitasking with apps. And that's something that I think is very welcome, again, for making the iPad sort of a laptop replacement device. Not necessarily exactly a laptop replacement device, because there's simply not as many apps available that provide that kind of capability on the iPad. But it is interesting to see what they're doing as making this more of a creation device and less of a consumption device moving forward. And this will obviously work well across all of the iPads, but mostly on those iPad Pros that creators really like.
Yeah, that widget stuff is definitely cool news. And the FaceTime changes also welcome. I think you're right. Could have used that a little earlier on in the pandemic, but no time like the present. All right, I know you're busy. Go back and listen to the conference. Dan Howley, thanks so much for being with us.